It's 2023. If you're out there and you still trust banks after everything that happened in 2008 and everything that happened subsequently, then what have you been doing? What rook have you been living under?
The expert from Coinbureau, Guy, has graciously shared his comprehensive insights and astute predictions for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market in 2023. Within the ever-evolving landscape of digital assets, Guy recognizes that, despite some encouraging developments, there is an overarching sentiment that surrounds Bitcoin and the current banking crisis, which gives rise to concerns about the potential for yet another market downturn this year. Delving into a nuanced analysis, he presents the view that Bitcoin might face substantial challenges, with the prospect of experiencing notable downward movements prior to the highly anticipated halving event in 2024. But Guy's expertise extends beyond this initial observation. He astutely draws a parallel between the trajectory of Bitcoin and the stock market. His analysis suggests a possible decline in both of these financial domains for the year 2023. In response to these evolving dynamics, he places significant emphasis on the strategic aspect of cryptocurrency investment, particularly for those who perceive Bitcoin as the anchor of the cryptocurrency market, the proverbial gold standard. Amid Guy's meticulous examination of recent market trends, he rightly highlights the pivotal role that the next few months will play in shaping the Bitcoin narrative. He underscores the importance of vigilance, as the current market conditions carry a heightened level of risk and uncertainty. So, journey with us through this insightful interview, as Guy shares the latest updates and provides invaluable perspectives on what the dynamic cryptocurrency market has in store for 2023, offering investors and enthusiasts a nuanced outlook to navigate the digital asset landscape.
A lot of people still understand that the banking sector is fundamentally flawed. So there'll always be a minority, I think. There will always be a few people happy to blame crypto, but I think a lot of people know the truth. People seem to be picking up, they seem to be a little more optimistic about the state of the market. Obviously, we've largely moved past some of the disasters of last year. Things are starting to look up. Obviously, we've had crypto, performing pretty well in reaction to the banking crisis. So I think there is this renewed sense of optimism, but it's very cautious optimism. And as I say, there's this kind of confusion as well, because, there are so many headwinds that the industry is facing right now. There's so much, there's so many potentially troublesome things on the horizon, especially when it comes to regulations in the US and elsewhere, and interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I think people are having trouble kind of squaring that circle. It's like, well, on the one hand, crypto seems to be picking up, seems to be doing better. On the other hand, that's not really borne out by the fundamentals. The morale of people watching is improving. That's definitely something. Obviously, we've got people asking, are we heading into a new bull market? And right. I mean, my outlook has been fairly bearish. I've said before, and I'll say again, I don't think we're heading into a new bear market now. But as I said earlier, that's my best educated guess based on what I'm seeing out there. So I could be wrong, but I do notice things like people are still interested in altcoins. Yeah. I often find if I do a live stream on here, I did a sort of off the cuff live stream here on Clips a couple of weeks ago. And after a while, all the questions are like, thoughts on this, thoughts on that, thoughts on stuff that I have never heard of. So there's still, which I'm ashamed to say, but people are asking me, it's like, thoughts on X, Y, Z. It's like, I don't know, you tell me. So I feel a bit bad not being able to answer. But for instance, a few weeks ago, I did a video of some altcoins that I'm watching, and it did really well. It wasn't like I deliberately didn't put it out as 100x, next 100x, or to the moon, or whatever it was. It's just like, here are some altcoins that I'm interested in and that I think could have potential. One of them was Aave. Like, Aave is a top 20 coin. Like, it's great, but my point is that people still seem to be interested in that sort of thing, despite the fact that I think a lot of people recognize that at the moment it is really about the blue chips and it's all about Bitcoin. But I think that there is still that interest. The tone seems to have changed. People seem less bearish in general. I think generally people watching are kind of more engaged, a bit more interested. That sense of apathy definitely seems to have lifted somewhat, not entirely, but somewhat. So perhaps a good strategy is to pick what you believe in and invest into it slowly and over time, and take a long-term view. And obviously there's this thing, I think a lot of people who come into crypto, it's very easy to kind of fancy yourself as a trader, especially in a bull market, especially when everything seems to be going up all the time.
Oh yeah, and everybody's a genius in the bull market.
Yeah, maybe the thing you need to pay attention to most is the fact that most people aren't traders. Most people don't have the aptitude for it. I know I don't. And really, the best form of investing for them is long term, low touch, and usually much lower stress. Isn't it just best to take a long view and invest for much further down the line? Don't try and time the market, and of course, or second guess the market. And of course, all these indicators, some of them are great, some of them, everyone has their particular combination of indicators, but none of them can predict the unexpected, can they? None of them can predict what happened yesterday when this news comes out that Mt. Gox wallets are apparently selling, US government wallets are apparently selling. The price, Bitcoin was at 30K, it dipped below that. And then a few hours later, we found out that was nonsense. No indicator is going to tell you that. So in terms of recession, I'm still surprised that we haven't had one yet. I'm amazed that it's held off for as long as it has. So I still see that coming. That's obviously going to have an effect on Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market as well. The thing that kind of fascinates me about Bitcoin, and I guess this is in comparison to something like Amazon, is that Bitcoin's fundamentals, they remain the same. They remain the same throughout. We know that we know what the issuance is. We know what the supply is going to be. There are no surprises in that sense. We're not looking at things like, I guess you could argue that things like fees on the network are something to bear in mind, but really it's a different story, isn't it? It's a commodity we're looking at. I don't think we're going to see the same sort of plunge. But again, as Ben says, it's perfectly possible that we could see something like that. And when you throw a recession into the mix as well, when you throw a continued high rate environment into the mix, I think there's still, when it comes to rates, I think that the consensus is we're going to get one more rate rise it's next week, isn't it? The next meeting. I wonder what will happen when after that, if the Fed turns around and says, okay, well, that's it, we're going to keep them there. We're not going to bring them down, but we're going to keep them there. What happens as people get accustomed to that, accustomed to a permanently, as it seems, high rate environment? Because I think that could last for a long time. So between a mixture of high rates and a recession, I think that's definitely something that could take Bitcoin a lot lower from what it is now. But I always take comfort from the fact that the fundamentals, as I say, remain the same.
When it comes to economic analysis, Guy firmly believes that the performance of the United States economy wields a significant influence over global markets, particularly the cryptocurrency space. He underlines that the market corrections and crashes we've witnessed are not necessarily negative. In fact, they can be seen as necessary safeguards to avert more severe crashes in the future. Guy expresses a legitimate concern that the recovery of the economy might be protracted if structural issues persist. Nonetheless, he emphasizes the undeniable strength of the U.S. economy and its pivotal role as a reservoir for a substantial portion of global market capital. Given the interconnected nature of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with central bank policies, regulatory changes, and global economic conditions, he underscores the importance of closely monitoring these factors in the upcoming months. The latest interview with Guy from Coinbureau has generated considerable interest, especially concerning his predictions for Bitcoin and the broader cryptocurrency market in the current year. These insights offer valuable perspectives on how investors and enthusiasts should navigate the ever-evolving digital asset landscape. We invite you to share your thoughts and comments on this interview and Guy's predictions for 2023. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.